Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is a special historical period we're living in, and this is a message directed to the Iranian community inside of the United States, and about our historical relationship. First of all, my first lecture real lecture with the brothers and sisters at UC Berkeley and Dwinell Hall, it was right after the 7th of Tyr. All Iranians will remember the 7th of Tyr. This was in 1981. The 72 martyrs were martyred, and on the 6th of Tyr, the Rahbar had a munafiq was giving him an interview, and it blew up. It blew his hand off and everything. That's why he have a prosthetic hand, on one side. They called him a living martyr. So when I gave that speech, I gave it at UC Berkeley. The person that opened the speech was Javad Larijani. He's been a big shot over there for a while. His whole family is into it. He went home about a year later. The next time I saw him, where's that picture at? The next time I saw Javad was right here. Here he is right here, Javad Larijani. The next time I saw him was in 1984. 1984, this one was, you see Niagara Falls. This one was at a wonderful program we had in Canada. It was a Hajj program. It was a beautiful program. So our relationship is a 40-year-old relationship. For the last 10 or 15 years, there's been something strange going on. But I've tried and tested it, and I've come to a conclusion. The conclusion that I have is that since every Iranian in the U.S. is a part of that, every Iranian then swallowed whatever they was told. And also, most Iranians have that, I'm doing something that I don't want to do look. It's a dumb look. The people have it. Almost everybody have it. And also, it has to be very important, because I know the friendship that we developed over the years was probably the closest relationship between the Iranian community and us. And I say that because when we started out, we did an analysis. Okay, we wasn't no teenagers either. We starting out from COINTEL program. We starting out from spending time in Leavenworth and all these other federal penitentiaries. We're starting off from studying what we was doing. All the people that was rebellious in the 60s and the 70s, they was in the prison with me. The ones that, few of them got away, either they was in exile with me, or they was in prison, or they was slipping around, or they was dead. That's just okay. The ones that lived through it, and we were in prison together, we studied what happened, how did it happen. That's what we spent our time doing. To everybody else, they would think you're wandering in the wilderness. We was wandering, but we was specific wandering. We were wandering this place, wandering that place. We're studying what happened. And we're also forecasting. Whatever we do, What are the possibilities? Now, when we came home for the last time, we opened the masjid and the Iranians are coming. So I studied the Iranians. I said, okay, this is when America, this is during the so-called spy crime. Hey, man, they hated Iran then, and they still hate it now. They don't hate it. They don't know what they hate. But the leaders, they hate it. Boy, do they hate Iran. So we did an analysis. What is their condition? Number one, they're students. Number two, they're in America. Number three, what is the Americans going to do with them? So we studied them, and what do they need? They're young people here, and they need to be directed and motivated. And somebody that knows how to cover them. That's how our relationship developed, a special relationship. Because everything that I'm telling you, I did that, and I practice ethics. Is honor, morality. That's what I did at that time. And I'm saying to this, any Iranian, y'all used to use our masjid, all the programs we had all over the country. Number one, did I take any money for it? Did I charge you any money? No, you just gave me enough money to go to the next town. And when I got there, the Iranians there gave me enough money to get to the next town. I traveled all over this country for at least 10 years during the time of the life of the Imam. When the Imam passed away on June 3rd, the 15th of Cordad, now y'all know what that is. Actually, it was the 14th of Cordad. Can you imagine that he died on that date? Everything that we did was according to the ethics and a high moral standard. Okay. Therefore, this is the way we want you to look at what we were doing. It wasn't for anything, and we had two things. We had our masjid we had to deal with, the Islamic movement that we had to deal with. You got to remember what was going on then. At this time, America and the movement was in it was strange. Number one, the Islamic movement was in a decline. Every Islamic movement, the Dar al-Islam movement, would be destroyed within 1 or 2 years. It was already divided then. And the leaders of that movement, Yahya Abdul Karim, gave a lecture. Imam Jamil gave me that lecture. And he said, yeah, a lot of y'all lack what you saw in Iran, but da-da-da-da-da, because it was revolutionary and it was Islamic. All right. So we had the Dar al-Islam movement that was surrounded and headed for a big fall, which it did. That paper you see down there, it comes from remnants. Right downstairs. Yeah, that comes from the remnants of that group. That took the group out of the city and took them to the country. You don't take no people out of the city and take them to the country to spread Islam in the country. There ain't nobody in the country, right? You know, build a settlement. When they want to nullify you and cut you off, they take you to the country. Rajneesh, everybody. Jim Jones. Well, but Jim Jones, I don't want to get on Jim Jones. But Jim Jones was right next to what was Temple 26 on Gary, right near Fillmore and Gary in San Francisco. He was Indian, he was a Cherokee. Half the people in there was black. You think black people go and commit suicide? They commit suicide, they use heroin, they do all that. But they're not gonna drink no Kool-Aid and they know what's in there. I just leave it like this. I read the newspaper, it said 450 people dead and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's one day. Then the next day they said, no, there was bodies laying on top of each other and it's 900 people died. I said right away, somebody lying. I don't pay attention to that lie. Do you know today, 4 times, in Britain they just finished saying, 4 times as many black people die with this stuff. That's, I don't know exact number here, but there 4 times. Well, it's bad. This, I said, I don't like that math. If you said maybe 2 times, say, yeah, niggas don't have no health care. They just run around. 4 times, I'm sorry. You can take that somewhere else. That's bull crap. You take that 4 times, 4 niggas, or Caribbeans. One family was from Sri Lanka, mixtures. From Slough. I said, that's where Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was. I've been to Slough before. Slough is it's right outside of London. It is. Indian, African, they said Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, all of them dying. I said, well, my goodness, let me see the wars. Where are the wars? The wars are in Afghanistan, the wars in Iraq, the wars in Yemen, the wars is where we are, and peace is in Europe and in America. And who makes money off the war? They do. They sell us guns to fight each other. I ain't going for that. And then we're going to die 4 times. That's making somebody comfortable. They say, well, shoot, it just ain't hardly none of us dying, it's just them. Right? Hey, and it's all right with everybody. Magic Johnson, them, it's all right. The piano playing woman, oh, it's fine. It's just our health care bad. That's the numbers. I don't like the numbers. I'm going to get back to Iranians. Okay. So we did a study, dear brothers. We did a study. We studied you. We studied the environmental circumstances, and we studied what you would need. Number one, first thing is you're going to be surrounded by the American government. Why we know that? First thing we did when we came here in 1989 was looked and saw the Negroes, because see, Imam Khomeini go to the Mustadafin, the oppressed, that's the people of color. They had them surrounded. The first thing I looked at was the Negroes that worked in the early years down at the Daftar. First thing I looked at. They don't have nothing no difference who it was, just that's what I looked at. I said, why? Because that's who's going to work for boss man. They're going to work for Iranians. They're going to surround them. They can't get away from it. I know the Europeans followed me everywhere. I had to make a decision. Okay, if they follow me everywhere, they're going to, they're going to know who the main brothers are and all of that, and where all the hot spots are for them, the best spots for Iranians. Then I kept traveling. I said, they already know. Because they talk to all the Iranians, and all the Iranians they call in are all the main ones. Also had a chance at that time to study the Islamic movement. Can you imagine? I went to almost every city and every campus in the United States. Almost every one of them, over and over again. So it's different with me and say Muhammad Al-Asi or somebody, he would fly in on a plane, do a program, and he would come back to D.C. I would drive there, and I would hang out in the masjid. In those days, they let you hang. I would hang out in the masjid in each city. Or if I stayed with a brother on campus, I would go to the masjid and hang out there all day long. When I had a program, then when I was in Memphis, the brothers came in the masjid, they said, there was a flyer, Imam Musa going to speak. So these are Malaysian, they said, who is this Imam Musa? So I said, well, it's just me, that's all. I wasn't mad at them. They just laughing at the brother. You got to be able to take a joke. Because they thought in those days, the Negro don't know nothing about no Islam. That's the way they thought. The Arabs thought it. They thought it then, and they think it now. That's why you ask Abdul Haq and them, the MSA and all that was almost telling them, oh, you do not qualify to have an Islamic party. And I think what's the name told him, Muzaffar ad-Din said that they got two parties, Hizbullah and Hizbul Shaitan. So you the party of one or the other. That's what it says, isn't it? And they get mad, niggas telling them something they got in their own book and won't read it. Or don't know what it say. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we studied the Iranians. What do they need? They need somebody to help them and to encourage them and to motivate them. Because imagine you're a young student in this country and everybody here hates you. Right? Everybody here basically hates you. So at that time, the talks were really motivational, really juiced up, because that's what they needed. They're not like that now, because who needs it? Anyway, so we traveled and we studied, and we got the point across. The other thing is the Islamic Republic of Iran. If you'd have told us that in 40 years that you did the Jabhat, the war, that was big. But think about it, since the war, everybody else done suffered big suffering, but not you. Think about it, Iran, that was you gave up your martyrdom then. Now look where you are. Top in missile technology. You think they're happy about that? You're independent. Nobody in the world can tell America, shut up, who you talking to? But Iran. They're independent. Independence is big. Independence means that you can produce your own food, right? Iran right now has been under 40 years of sanctions and boycotts and isolations. And half of it, 8 years of it was war, maximum war. Hey, I'm telling you, y'all can perform above and beyond expectations. Now you said that's what you say. Yeah, that's what I say. Because you're looking at it different than I do. You're looking at it like, I know this guy, they do this, they do that, right? You're not looking at the big picture. When it hit me real good, well, it hits you every good time you get up and see it. But in 2009, everybody in America, the world, was sure that Iran was finished. You remember that? They were sure. It wasn't nobody playing. They said they're finished. It's finished. And our people, all Iranians, was feeling the same way. The news, you would think they got another week. But they didn't remember in the war, September 22nd, the war will be over. They invaded September 22nd, September 24th, 23rd. The war will be over. They're going to be out of gas in 1 week. They're going to be this. And it was 8 years later, and they were still rolling. Poison gas, Exocet missiles, T-72 tanks, everything you can imagine. Sudanese mercenaries, Jordanian regulars, Egyptian pilots and technicians, and they survived all of that, man. It is unbelievable then. But now, look at what's been going on since then. Look at Iran now. They just sent a satellite, shot a satellite out there. This one stayed. They were just happy a month ago, oh, it didn't make it all the way. This one made it. And it's out there in orbit. They get a few more out there, they're going to be able to hook up their international communication network. They won't need none of these Euros no more. They won't be able to cut off Hezbollah stuff. They won't be able to cut off, because they'll all be out there. So Iran has acted above and beyond the call of duty, above expectation. They have. It's unbelievable. In weaponry and technology, everybody else buy their weapons. They produce their own. They produce their own. They own a roll. Okay, now, I know that whatever y'all have been told, it's very important, because all of y'all going along with it. Not only inside of America, but outside. And it just didn't start. I remember 15 years ago, a good friend of mine, I used to visit him up the way. He's a big time official, then and now. So, certain times I said, maybe you can do this, that, and other. So, I can't do that. But I'd like for you to have this. So after the second time, me saying that, I said, whatever it was, he couldn't tell me. I guess it's an Iranian secret. Whatever's going on now, it's an Iranian secret. But I'm not gonna, I know that whatever it is, that I know that who has been friends of mine, who has been sincere, and who's been honest. And it's most of the brothers and sisters. I already know that. But remember, an individual, it may be some not stupidity, but I know that a lot of things that was going on here, they may have a chair in this place and a chair in that place. And in those days, it'd be $650,000 for that university to have some representative. And then I see who's there and what da-da-da-da-da-da. And those, whoever they are, would not have anything set aside for people that was really on their team. And the other thing is about control. I'm sorry, you just can't control people. Remember I was telling you about the Rahbar? I study what I'm talking about. In fact, I'm not arrogant. I know what I'm talking about. I know because I can see what I said, what's going on, and probably where it's going. I already know that. I'm 75 years old, and I've had years and years to study. So you know something about what you said, and you have to be real about it, because you can't lie to yourself. At least if you do, hey man, you're going to start flipping up, slipping up, and going crazy. Okay. When everybody just knew that Iran was going to crack wide open, it was June 19th, the Rahbar gave Salatul Jummah. And I said, hey man, this guy is a Rahbar now. He is the Rahbar. Now I know some of you Iranians are going to get, maybe I don't know how you're going to feel about this. But it's the same with Malcolm, King, and others. They had so much time to do certain things, right? And so many challenges to deal with. If all people start off equal, say like King start off equal, Malcolm start off equal, I start off equal with them. If I have 4 times as much experience as they do, I'm going to get sharper than they are. Just can't do nothing about it. That's the law. I'm going to get more experience than they did. I'm going to go more places, see more, hear more stuff, and plus the environment accelerates. You can't take, what was them Negroes' name way back? Booker T. Washington and what's the name now? You can't use that. Nobody in the 60s used that stuff, right? But they motivated people. Okay? How can we use Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, their policies right now? The movement is 50 years, in 53 years, 50, way out there. It's gone, it's moving. They are heroes. They fed us. We love them. But what about our job? What we found out was the Negroes that held on to Malcolm and King, if they held on to Malcolm, I've seen them all at the IEC going visit his grave, them Negroes was using him as a crutch. They wasn't doing nothing. Malcolm, Malcolm, Malcolm. Why? You keep saying that. And you're not doing nothing like, you know what I mean? They use Malcolm as a crutch. The media, what they doing with King, they want me and you to go back and sit on the couch with Martin Luther King. Right now, right? You can see it. There's nothing up and around here. They want to keep us back there like that was the epitome of struggle. It's not the epitome of struggle. What about now? Right? That's why they've been successful with keeping people quiet and sleep. They celebrate what happened then, and they bring everybody out. But anyway, back to June 19th, when the Rahbar came out and gave that khutbah, first of all, it was very strategic. See, he's a Rahbar now. In other words, he didn't call Imam Khomeini. Why? Because he got more time in. Imam Khomeini's time, what he had to do was allow Rafsanjani and everybody to get the experience of working together with each other. That's why he didn't get too much involved. Because he wanted them to learn and not depend on them. Ayatollah Khamenei have had to administer all of these 30 years administration in each and every kind of president, environment, and all that. So he didn't pass the Imam Khomeini. That's just, I know it's sacrilegious to say that. I'm just telling you my opinion. Because now, I hope y'all not, I hope I'm not talking to stupid Iranians. What are stupid Iranians? Stupid Iranians is the ones that's anti-Velayati Faqih. Anti-Velayati Faqih. or parochial, small-time Iranians. You got your little dumb crew. I've experienced them. I experienced them at the Daftar and everything. Y'all remember, especially you guys in California, this is Hossein Nadari. Remember UC Berkeley? He was there at the same time Brother Mujtaba went home. He took over. Brother Javad went home, right? They was all at UC Berkeley. At the Daftar, they told me, Hossein Nadari, he's with Ahmadinejad. So what? That's what they said, right over there at the Daftar. Hossein Nadari, our friend, our brother. Y'all was there with him, right? Y'all was there with him. I said, what does that have to do with anything? Well, if he is with Ahmadinejad, he's got kind of, you should have Hossein Nadari, Ahmadinejad, and all of them, you're on the same team. You think boss man over here is going to look around and see which Iranian is which? If he sent a bomb over there, it's to blow up all Iranians. He don't care about your team. And if you're dumb enough to be in one of these anti-Velayati Faqih crews over here, if you're anti-Velayati Faqih, you done missed the boat. You done missed the boat. I'm not mad at you because everything that we deal with is coming from, I know I used to didn't talk like this, but I'm telling you now. I love Iran, I love Iranians, and I love y'all. Love you. Whatever you're doing, I already know that it's something. It's not what the U.S. government would want me to think. Oh, boss man coming here last year, we don't think you should do this, that, and other because you're going to get in trouble. He gave me the names of the people that was sanctioned. I said, them is your people, man. What are you talking about? Your people. I said, the only thing they is the Iranians. Well, if they want to help you at the Bunyad up in New York, they could help you. So he's trying to tell me that the people here, they don't. Look, I'll be very short about this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this CD, DVD, and I might go out to IAC, maybe. But where I'm going to go is the Saba Center in San Jose. I'm going to go out there. First week, I'm going to just go out there and I'm going to give all y'all the CD, DVD, whatever it is. And the next week, I'm going to come back with boxes. Now, all of y'all, you know who we are. We were in the masjid together. Don't you remember that feeling of warmth, brotherhood, and friendship? Don't you remember our masjid was a center when they came from New Mexico, Texas, far to Quds demonstrations, Colorado, everything that happened on the West Coast, everything, they came from all over that part of the country. On this side of the Mississippi, they came here to D.C., but on the other side, they came to us, the headquarters for all the demonstrations, Quds demonstrations, and all of that was at our masjid. Everything was from there. You have to remember the camaraderie, the brotherhood, and the friendship that was developed. You can't buy that. Okay. The other thing is that you've definitely outperformed all expectations. No doubt about it. In economy, in military, in technology, Iran is right up there with the big ones. I'm talking about in technology and messing with people's, the little spy stuff and all that, internet stuff, shutting down this and shutting. They can do that. They up there. They're up there. And you're doing what you were supposed to. Why? Because the sharpest students that was in America was Iranian students. Remember you guys? Yeah. Sharp as a tack. And intellectually, you were sharper at that time than you are now. What I mean is, inside of Iran, the administration is really growing by leaps and bounds. Everybody getting sharp. Why? Because they're getting attacked. Being attacked is healthy for you. Do you know that I said stuff that would make the U.S. attack Iran more? Why would somebody do that? Because evolving with the curve, behind the curve, you know what I mean? Iran has kept up. Why? Because the heat has stayed on them, and we made sure. Strategic alliance, Iran gonna do this, Iran gonna do that, and they can't sleep at night. So they put more heat on you. Why? So you can survive right now. You're doing what you're doing right now because you didn't have that heat on you. If you didn't have enough heat on you, you wouldn't have evolved with the curve. We learned that from watching Equan. They evolved, but they was just walking along. The movement is going 100 miles an hour and they're doing 40. Right? It's not true with you. Missile technology, what's it going to look like in 5 years from now? Be on a roll. Drone technology, you're already number 4 in the world, right? Who produce their own cars in that part of the world? Saudi Arabia? No, they buy theirs from over here, right? In medicine, in medics, all that stuff, you out in front of everybody. That's why you're surviving, because you're moving along with the trend or even picking up and getting out in front of it. So the people here, our friends, this is like a goodbye, see you later type thing. Yes, goodbye. Because something is not right at this time. It's not bad or good, but I know that if you're if you could, from where he's coming from, if he can affect the whole African continent, he have Fudiyas, Uthman Dan Fodio, Fudiyas, Uthman Ibn Fudi, Fudiyas. He teaches what the sheikh of those days taught with modern stuff. That's my poor son. Poor guy. You remember him? He used to travel around with me all the time. He was 17 and stuff like that. Poor guy. He was laying there with bullet holes. Do you know they had no investigation? No yellow tape, no nothing? Right? This is America. And, of course, remember, Walayati Faqih is a protection against global fitna. It is. Now, when I was in court, the little, we call her Iranian Dolly Parton, you know, she's a little lawyer, public defender out there in Alameda County. Y'all probably know her. Dolly Parton, you know. She took pictures of all of this. And her family is very religious. Oh, my mom goes here, they do this. So I probably know her family. But she took pictures of all of this. So everybody not only took pictures of it, when I come back in the country, I make boss man mad. I leave my phone, all these notes come from notebooks. I bring my notes books with me. Why? So they can read them. They can read the notes. I don't rearrange them. Maybe I put a few things in there, you know, just because I know they're going to read them. But I bring them so they can read them year after year. I'm not slow. I know they're going to read them. I leave my phone. Why should I take my phone over there? I leave my phone because they're going to, when they take it from me, it's got so much juice on it. When they give it back, it has 74, you know, whatever it is. That means they done plugged it in. They done went through the whole thing. This, we have as much sense as the whole system. We do, right here. We have as much sense as the whole system. Who's going crazy, us or them? Who don't have no vision of the future, us or them? Who hired Donald Trump? Somebody hired him because he's sure doing, look, somebody hired that man. And they had to hire an idiot because only an idiot would do what he does. To have the boldness to do that, you couldn't hire Obama. They hired Obama. He ain't, man, I can't act that big a fool. George Bush, I thought that was the craziest man I ever seen in my life. Even George wouldn't do it. George is a scholar and a gentleman compared to this bum. But it's wonderful looking at it. What do you think the world sees? Do you know what the world press? Pull it up sometime. They pull this, they are watching that bomb. And they are disappointed. America the Great is performing like an idiot, right? That's what they're saying, the foreign press. Wonderful. We talked about it before. I was listening to the news this afternoon. They pressing China so bad that now China is using the Wuhan, whatever they call that, their own money to do certain things. And so Russia and Iran, they said China, Iran, now that means that they're going to move away from the dollar. What's going to make them move away from the dollar? They say it on the news all the time because the U.S. is pressuring everybody. The dollar is what's keeping them up, right? So everybody else going to say, you talking that bad, boss man? You sanction everybody because we use the dollar. Hey, we ain't using it no more. We talked about that all for years. I'm just trying to tell you, everything we talk about is going on. The lectures that we're going to have was going to advise and discuss and kind of give people a feel for what's really happening and where we can go with it. Okay, let me speed up because we're getting close here. Outperformed expectations. You've done that. Your mission, you're doing what your mission is. Your mission is you're doing your mission. But part of your mission is don't be so funny acting in relation to other Iranians. They don't have to be perfect. That's 807? Well, okay. Do y'all mind if I keep talking just a little bit? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, groupism is a luxury that you can't afford. This old world that we're living in, we got to think about what the world will look like after this. This is our chance and our opportunity. We're actually thinking and discussing and writing what the world should and could look like after this period. This is the strangest period in modern history. It ain't nothing that was just floating along like this and all of a sudden, boop, it's different. That has not happened. It's different. It's different. And it's a nosedive. The institutions, they're telling people, go back to work. They ain't going back to work. If you give them more money to stay at home and it ain't no danger, you think they're going to go work in a meat plant and die of all of this stuff? And see, the death rate now is so high that it's real. It ain't, that's why 2,000 people, all that's a good chance of me not hitting me. But nowadays, it must be 74,000, 75, somewhere like that. It's going up 2,000 a day, easy. Okay. How sharp you was in the 80s and 90s. You were sharp because you was going through the challenges. Sure, your mind was wide open. You slow down when you slow down. So that's probably why y'all going for all this dumb stuff, because you done slowed down. You done retired. Your wife, all y'all now, your children are at or in university or out of the university. Some of them are lawyers and doctors already, the children. And you don't want them to have no trouble. Therefore, you want dummies. You want them to be dummies. No trouble, no dummies. No, you can't build yourself. Opposition, strength. It's simple rule. Targetism. How to use the position as the target. How to use this stuff that's happening. How to, it's called counter-targetism. Okay, goal setting is part of it. Clearinghouse monitoring. Okay. We have to free the world from influence of international Zionism. It's an expansion of As-Sabiqun liberation organization. In other words, what we're talking about now is a natural part of our evolution. We evolve all the time, daily, weekly, so this is a part of our natural evolution. Liberate the world from the scourge of the Triangle of Terror. Y'all remember the Triangle of Terror? Saudi Arabia, the Zionist state of Israel, and the United States of America. counter anti-Zionist technologies. Mossad is supposed to be so, they phones and all that, supposed to be able to hook up all this, that, and another. Iran catch they behind and jump on them and whoop they behind. Then over here, we'll be clowning them. See, the Zionists is arrogant. If you make fun of the Zionists, that's how we done whooped them every time. We whooped the Zionists by making fun of them. They can't stand it. And we mosey on up. Every Zionist you done saw us around, we done whooped they behind. Every one of them. Rabbi Chaim them out in L.A., the other Zionists at UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC Berkeley later. What's his name? Oh, on the TV. What's his name? Hannity. All of them. Every Zionist. Oh, it's Daniel Pipes. We just told him, oh, man, you a coward. You just sit up there and talk there. You can meet me wherever you want on the corner and we talk. Yeah. I'm not going to talk with Imam Musa because he is da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I wouldn't talk with no nigga either if he was going to slap me around. You know, right? Nothing to lose. Hey, man. Hey, shoot. Bump them people. But we doing that now. We've already done it psychologically. We're not doing too bad. Remember, we're still surrounded by boss man. I mean, big time. Don't make no difference. At least we know where he at. Let's see. Explain Oakland. You know, this Ramadan and now the thing, the bell and ring, whatever they call it, the adhan. So we're gonna give you all a break. Here's what we're gonna say. Dear Iranians, we appreciate the time that we had together and the great work that we did. I appreciated it, and they have the Stars Spangled Banner and all that stuff over here. I never stand up for it. But when they have the Jamhuriya Islamiyya, when they have those anthems in Iran, I stand up. And I was there so long, one time I was singing them just like everybody else. I didn't forget them now, but I remember after a while. Because Islamic Republic don't belong to you. I used to think like this. I used to say, well, I want to thank y'all Iranians for helping us with our revolution. In other words, I was so involved in it that I was thinking almost, not as mine personally, but you know, we were saying we want to thank y'all for helping us with the revolution, but the world is dependent on you. There's nobody else out there. And don't worry. You know, I don't believe you're going nowhere. Boss man been trying to get rid of you for decades, and you're just getting stronger and better. He's getting stupider and weaker. Which way is things? You know, the trend, which way is things going? Are they going with them or are they going with us? So I'm going to go on and close, and I want to ask y'all again. I'm going to pass this out at Saba Center. I'm not going to come inside. I'm going to pass these out probably on Thursday, whenever I get out there. Then the next week I'm going to come back, and I'm going to have a box with me to raise funds. So I'll come there for 4 weeks in a row, and I want y'all to fill up those boxes. Remember the good old days. Those days aren't over. Shoot, the stuff is rolling right now. And if you're looking for retirement, you better retire here in America. Iran don't get no retirement. Sorry. Yeah. Iran is setting the pace. Don't you know how good that is? Don't you know how wonderful that is? Have you ever read Maulana Maududi, and he had his 9 categories of things? One of them said about the Islamic State, will it be able to survive all of the onslaught of non-believers, of disbelief. Will the Islamic State be able? You done proved it. Hey man, it's just like us here in the U.S. Can't nobody say how bad boss man gonna do it. Boss man ain't gonna do nothing. Boss man is a sweetie pie. That's what we say. He done did you can't imagine the stuff boss man done did to us. What is our attitude? Love, compassion. You use everything, and that's what y'all been doing. You perform above all expectations. Don't be so hard on internal Iranians. A lot of brothers went back home and they became Americanized, so they looked at things like in Iran, like the people here, it's so unorganized, and that was during the war. It wasn't unorganized. It just slipped up on you, and it took you a long time to figure out what to do. And actually, you didn't figure out what to do technically till the war was over. But now look at your war-making capabilities. Look at Hezbollah. Look at all the things you got going. Is boss man going to attack you? Boss man probably won't. But if he do, you got several spots that I know you're going to take out. Look how efficient your military is. Look how effective your science, your technology, and your engineering. Look at your agriculture. Tomatoes here, they're just a little red-looking thing. Your tomatoes in Iran taste good. Juicy, deep red. Your eggs, the eggs are twice as dark as the yellow in the eggs over here. Mexicans don't even like these eggs here. Why? Because the white man got sense, and the chicken come in, he turn on the light, lay an egg, because it's daytime. Then he turn the light off, click. Dumb chicken lay another egg. So they lay two eggs a day, and they light and they don't taste. They call it sabor. The taste is not good. That's why Mexicans today won't buy it. The ones here buy them, but the ones back home, they won't buy these eggs. We don't like these eggs. They don't have no taste. Me and you taste them all. These are good eggs. Yeah, it's white folks' eggs. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is your agriculture, your production. Another 10 years, Allah knows best where you'll be. But wherever it will be, we're going to be right there with you watching. We ain't going to be sitting around worrying you to death, because this is like a nice goodbye, see you later type stuff. You know, it's not, we don't like you anymore, but somebody done told you something that's got you separating from us. So we're not chasing nobody down. You know what I mean? And nothing like that. So that's why we're telling you. We thank you very much. Part of the best part of our life was getting around, being an inspiration, and a little bit of hidayah for y'all when you were young. We now here by ourselves. You got to remember. Okay, all right. You talking about lonely? We'll leave you like this. We've been lonely all the time. Not lonely, not lonesome, but we've been here all the time. So we thank y'all very much. Everybody getting up, running out. Assalamu alaikum. No. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We get it. Alhamdulillah. So this is Ramadan. You know what I might make another one in a day or two and stick it with this. Because this is kind of haphazard. I think we will. We'll do this one, but we're going to make another one. This is more to the point. Because y'all see where I do. I start talking over here, then I'm talking over there. I want to talk to y'all about what's important to us. Thank you very much. As-Salamu Alaikum. Yep. Yeah, we'll do another one.